Welcome back to another video. In today's video I want to cover 6b, which will be looking at index laws 1 and 2. So the first thing you need to know is the first index law, which tells me that if I have an index of the same base, so a to the power of m multiplied by a to the power of n, as you can see they both have the same base of a. If we multiply them, that will allow us to add the powers. So this becomes a to the power of m plus n. So when multiplying terms with the same base, we need to add these powers. Index law number 2 tells me that if I have two terms with the same base and it's divide, then we can actually minus these powers. So a to the power of m divided by a to the power of n will give me a to the power m minus n. So essentially, when we divide terms with the same base, we can subtract the powers. Okay, so let's go through a couple of examples in this section. So the first one tells us to simplify giving your answers in index form. So in A, I've got 2 to the power of 4 times 2 to the power of 5. So it's 2 to the power of 4 multiplied by 2 to the power of 5. Now, because they are the same base, we know that we can add the powers. So this becomes 2 to the power of 4 plus 5, which is the same as saying 2 to the power of 9. In example B, the question is asking us 9 to the power of 7 divided by 9 to the power of 3. Once again, we have the same base of 9, so this will become 9 to the power of 7 minus 3. Remember, it's minus if we are dividing them, okay? So this will become 9 to the power of 4. So let's continue on. The next part asks us to simplify each of the following using the first index law. So we know in A that it is going to be x to the power of 2 times x to the power of 9. So because they're the same base and we're multiplying, the first index law tells us that this becomes 2 plus 9. So this becomes x to the 11. In part B, we have a squared b to the 4 times a b3. So for this question, you need to group your a's and your b's together. So we have an a2 here and we have an a1 here. Okay, remember there's a 1 here that we don't write, so it's actually a to the power of 1. So a 2 plus 1 following the first index law, and then we have b 4 plus 3. So what we get from this is a to the power of 3 multiplied by b to the power of 7. And finally, with example C, we have 4m to the power of 2 multiplied by 7m to the power of 3. So with this question, I would always recommend multiplying your coefficients first. So you want the 4 and 3, the 4 and the 7, which gives us 28. Now you have m to the power of 2 multiplied by m to the power of 3. So this becomes m to the 2 plus 3. So this becomes 28m to the power of 5. Okay, and finally, let's go through these last couple. We have simplify each of the following using the second index law. So remember, the second index law tells us if they are the same base, we are able to take away the powers. So a to the power of 7 divided by a to the 3, because they're the same base, we can take away the powers as it is division. So this becomes a to the 7 minus 3, which gives us a to the 4. Now in B, this is asking us 4x to the 6y4 divided by 10 to the x3y3. So what we can do in this one is we need to find two factors that will go into, sorry, 1 factor that will go into both 4 and 10. So the answer for this one would be 2. 2 goes into 4 and 10. So ask yourself, 4 divided by 2, what number will that give you? It will give you 2. 10 divided by 2, what number will that give you? It will give you 5. So now we want to deal with the x to the 6 and the x to the 3. So x6 divided by x3, you guys would remember if they're the same base and it's division, then you may take away the powers. So it becomes x to the 3. And then y to the power of 4 divided by y to the power of 3. We can take those away as well. So that becomes y, just y. Remember, y to the 4 divided by y to the 3 gives us y4 minus 3, which is just y. Okay? So our final answer for this one will be 2x to the power of 3y divided by 5. Alright, the last example, simplify each of the following using the first 2 index laws. So now we're combining what we've learnt. So in this question, it's a to the power of 4 multiplied by a to the power of 3 divided by a to the power of 2. So we just need to ask ourselves, if it's a to the power of 4 times a to the power of 3, that means that we can say a, 4 plus 3, but then you're dividing it by a to the minus 2. So you just need to take away 2. So it becomes 4 plus 3, which is 7, minus 2, which is 5. So your answer is a to the power of 5. Now with b, this is a little bit trickier. We have 5a squared b to the 3 multiplied by 4ab to the 2 divided by 10ab to the 3. So what I would do is I would multiply the coefficients first. So you want to look at the 5 and the 4. This is going to give you 20. Then you want to look at the a, so it's a2 and a1, which will give us a3. And then you want to look at the b, so it's b3 and b2, which is going to give me b to the 5. And you want to divide that by 10 to the a, b3. So we've completed the first step, just combining the top parts of this question. Now, we're not done yet. We can still divide. So 20 divided by 10 will give us a value of 2. So if you divide these over, that gives you a 2. A3 divided by a will give us a 2. Remember, if it's divide, you can minus the powers. And b5 divided by b3 will give us b2. Alright, that's it for this exercise. Hopefully you learned something, and I'll catch you on the next one.